Hello everyone, I've found myself a nice little spot here underneath this tree, and of course our share of harassing cars that come by, where people stare at you, and such, but what I've learned to do is just stare straight back at them. That seems to be at least something of a way to tell them, hey, back off, bucko. Um, Now, also conveniently, I'm willing to bet that these people do not move the entire duration of me making this video. Now, I mean, again, why do I go through so much trouble to film this stuff? I go through so much trouble to actually do this now because people need to, you guys anyone who's watching this who understands what an Arcturian is, what the Ashtar Command is, what you guys need to understand is that you see all these apartments behind me. Every single person in every single one is either shapeshifted reptilian, Yael, or an enslaved human scared out of their mind. This entire place was just whoosh, practically overnight, and I was one of the few people who could hold out. And this was all linked to the August 21st agenda, but the nuclear part didn't happen. I don't know if perhaps that was part of the agenda to attack this entire area next to Chevron. Just think about it. If the people here who live next to Chevron, especially this area that I live in, not this area, but this complex, is the poorer, considered poorer area of the town, and it happens to be just literally staring right at Chevron, this poverty staring right at big oil headquarters. If the people started saying, hey, we're going to revolt, well, that would cause Chevron a problem, wouldn't it? So it makes sense that also everybody in this, every single person in this apartment complex will defer to my mother, who, whatever my mother is, it's not human, does not call itself human. Was it ever human? I don't know. I do know that my mother was born with reptilian back, with scoliosis, with the very Nazi type mentality. So there is that, but honestly I don't know. But so what happened? Yesterday, they wanted to try to go after thyroid again. They wanted to try and, do whatever they could do, and that happens to be one of their MOs. Any type of thing that they can do to you, that they can get an opening for, they will attempt to do. And so I was in the middle of the night, I was told, hey Krista, and I looked over and see, now what I say to people is that I'm blind. What that means is that I will look somewhere and I will know that there's a ghost there, or I will know that there's an Arcturian there, or I will know that there's a Pleiadian there, or an angel, or whatever. I'll know that there's something there, but I'll be as if I'm blind and can't see it. Literally like a person who is blind, who walks around and says, oh, yes, I know you're here because I can feel you here. It's the same thing where I'm saying, oh yes, I can feel you here, but I can't see you. It's like I'm blind. And they tell me the reason that you're blinded, they say that blinded, they call that being blinded a little bit like that I'm purposefully a little blinded or held down so that people won't see what I am seeing, because I am so tracked around now. I mean, if someone just suddenly pops out of nowhere and... Good, see, they were smart enough to look away, that person. Very good. See, now that I'm fighting back with my own camera, oh, they've started to realize, oh, we shouldn't harass her like we used to, especially if she's got her phone with her. So, they released some kind of strange chemical into the air, which... Who else? Hello? Every single person who lives here. So, I mean, and this is what's been making it stop, at least. It's been coming more under control the more I say, hey, I see you, instead of just let myself get slapped. But so, I guess I'll leave some of our most annoying parts here to pass as I tell the story. Um, what happened was like I said, I feel blind, so, I will know that something is there, and clearly it's real because, well, it did not. First of all, it didn't always used to be this way. I used to be able to see lots of different things before this, when my ability is activated. But now it's like dampered down because they will shoot what are called tags into your eyes, and even though when your frequency raises high enough, it's kind of like they fall off or deactivate or something, but they keep on doing it to me whenever they can attempt to get an opening. And so what I've been told is because they are so on you like that, because we don't have other ground people around you very much yet, we have to kind of take you off of some of that, offline of some of that, because then they would be seeing us. If you could overtly, with your own open eyes, see these things, they were saying almost the way the tag works is it gets projected onto either a computer monitor, into someone's third eye as an image, like for the grays that shoot them. It's almost like that's how they're watching it, or something like that. And so me not being able to see whoever is around me, but only be able to maybe sense it, that is much more protective. Because, see, people don't understand this. ETs cannot sense everything you're thinking. Reptilians are good at it, and Greys are good at it almost, but they can't tell everything you're thinking, especially when you've been exposed to them for a while, and you start to get wind of how they seem to sense things. Like if you're thinking a certain sentence, and you realize, okay, they thought this and this and this. These two things were true. The third thing was false. Okay, this was how they were deconstructing the frequency of whatever I must have been, quote, generating somehow. When you figure that stuff out, it becomes a little easier to disguise your thoughts. So I'm lying there, and I've got my neck like this. I wanted to make a video, but I couldn't even make a video because it hurt to hold stuff up. These things are some sort of odd, super engineered, well, attention is being drawn to the article that I saw in a Cannabis Culture or High Times magazine, back in 2006 or so, 2007 maybe, 2006, and it was about the conspiracy behind Bob Marley being assassinated and it being made to look like cancer in his toe. And anybody who knows about Bob Marley knows that people did try to assassinate him. And Peter Tosh also got assassinated by robbers who didn't steal anything, so I call that being assassinated. But the idea was something that is like a virus, or something that is, they said this is far more advanced than what was going on with Bob Marley. They said this was like something that's airborne, that it would not affect them because of their frequency as reptilians. And then the other reason that it wouldn't be affecting them was because, along with whatever the chemical was, or organism or whatever, there was also frequency-based attack. Like, as if you aimed something at my thyroid and tried to induce cancer there, as if someone aimed a frequency at it. Something like that. And so what we had to do is, I see an Arcturian there, and see, I keep beating around the bush with this because it's kind of hard to talk about with just who that Arcturian was. And he was a male who I know already from the Astro Command, and he said, "Oh boy, what have you gotten yourself into now?" But not quite like that. Said, "Oh God." sorry about what's going on here. Just hold on. Let me help with this. And I'd never actually seen this before. I said, wait, we're inside of a ship. This isn't the Ashtar Command. And he said, yeah, that's because we're on my ship right now. And I said, oh, you have your own ship. And he said, you thought I wouldn't. You already know about somebody who has a ship, and you think I wouldn't. And so I thought, oh, well, that does kind of make sense for people that like living inside of machine code, I guess. So I talked with this particular Arcturian, and again, kind of there was it looks like an incubator type setup, where it's sort of like a white table and like what you'd see in the movie Avatar. And he said, look, just lie down here and let me do this. Do you remember when you had one of those strange, I had these cursed little red stones thrown at me when I was first being attacked, and they would burn my skin. But one of those stones I know was thrown literally inside of my body. I saw the thing coming out of nowhere, like as almost if I was seeing it in slow motion, and then suddenly, as if I was hit inside of me, as if it just popped inside of my body. And I thought, wait, I can tell this is in my thyroid gland. I can tell. I immediately, the word was thyroid. And he said, this is the problem. You remember that triangular looking red little stone that looked like rubies being thrown at you, the one they threw in here? Yeah, that's the problem. I have to take it out. And so that was what he had to do. He just lie still. And I said, ow, it hurts. And he said, I know it hurts. Obviously, if someone's trying to give you cancer, it's gonna hurt. But look here, and I kept on saying, it hurts. And finally I said, see here, with like tweezers almost, but more like holographic almost. See, look here, I've got it. I took it out. See, it's not there anymore. And I would say, but it still hurts. And he said, oh, that's just residual. It'll go away. So I wake up. I end up sleeping in. This was last night. I end up sleeping in, wake up, and now pretty much the pain is significantly reduced. At least if I move my neck a bunch like this, then you can feel it. But it keeps on going down. And so he said, oh, this was kind of cool. There was lots of interesting looking technology aboard this craft, and I thought to myself, you strike me as the type of Arcturian to just randomly invent weird things. For someone who just might know who I am talking about, because they have a corresponding avatar, or human. They have a corresponding human, at least that it seems like they would have wished they could work with, but that perhaps it didn't go very well. Either way, I know that this Arcturian has helped me a couple of times to stay alive. And so he said, oh, I know what I can do here for the residual pain. And he said, lie back and see, holding your neck like this, if you've got some sort of sudden thyroid cancer, it hurts a lot. And also talking hurts a lot. And I didn't even know this stuff. And then I looked it up and I was like, whoa, okay, oh my gosh, wow. But it doesn't feel like you have a flu or anything. It feels like something's growing on your neck. And so he moved this contraption, which shined a blistering bright light down on my neck, and he just said, look, just lie under this, and this should help with some of the residual pain, okay? And while my neck would be in contact with, astrally in contact with this, the pain would lessen. And I would think, well, we can do this stuff with our minds, right? Or wouldn't you just use your version of a palm, and like Arcturian version of a palm, if they've only got like 3-fingered hands? And he didn't really say anything back. It was just the concept of, well, I like making all kinds of weird inventions. So I was told just to lie there for a little bit, and then I realized that there was it was almost like you could see space outside. And I looked over and I saw the Earth, but it was the Earth that, as if it was the moon, where you have half of the Earth or part of the Earth in shadow, and like how we see the moon. And I thought, oh, okay, so I'm lying in my bed and also above the Earth somewhere. And you see, that is how it will happen with me, because apparently, because of how strongly I'm monitored, and because of the dangers that can be involved going fully out of body in a complete astral experience where you have no perception of what you'd call your third density body. Apparently it's too dangerous for me to really do that, even though I have done it maybe 5 times. But now it's just not a good idea for me to do that apparently at all, because of astral entities wandering around the house, or trying to spray something at me while I'm lying down, or that's happened a few times. I've had some sort of strange astral person come into the house and spray something in my face. Something strange along those lines has happened quite a few times. Or not quite a few times, but it's happened at least twice, which is really annoying. And then my own family did it to me once, because they refused to give me my stuff back. But Cryon trick 1, leave everything behind. Leave everything behind. Cryon trick 1, leave everything behind. And Bob Dylan, even though Bob Dylan had his own issues apparently with, in that interview, I sold my soul to the, well, he says, all the money you made'll never buy back your soul. And no, it won't. All the money that you make will never buy back your soul. So that was how, let's just get off of this because it's been 17 minutes. So that was how we worked on the whole issue with that. And also, even without, remember when I was imprisoned, I was not able to actually really contact the Ashtar Command very well. It was as if they had some kind of webbing or net over the, I don't know what to call it, an energetic net of some type over the building that made transmissions into the building very difficult, including from people who would want to harm me, making that very difficult. Say someone's on the outside wanting to hurt me. Well, that kind of energetic net would stop either good or bad, it seemed, or attempt to stop anything from coming in or going out of the building. And so because of that, I wasn't able to, when I would be harmed or have a splinter in a bone or something, I wouldn't be able to have someone help me like that, and I would have to somehow instinctively do whatever it would take to heal the problem, like doing this and picturing some kind of very bright light, like a little laser or something, killing off the problem, or not killing it off, but healing the problem, or exterminating the area that was growing as a cancer, seeing it shrink and shrivel up in the presence of that light. Apparently that's something that I'm really good at doing. it keeps on occurring to me. How about you do that for other people, or see if that works with other people? Because it was a starseed friend of mine, before I knew what a starseed was, who said that that was something that I was going to become very good at. And Arcturians are known to be healers. At least I know that I am known for staying alive. They would actually make jokes about that in the reptilian little jail. They would make jokes about how every day they would ask us to say something that we were good at. And almost every day I would say something along the lines of, stay alive. And towards the end, one of the kids started laughing at that and saying, it's no joke, man, it's no joke, because apparently, as he was saying that, I could see a stream, an information stream, and seeing, oh my god, this kid's been abused by his parents, or, oh my god, something like this almost happened to this guy. And that he was actually, even though he would continually try to screw me over, because when you have that kind of reptilian programming, that's what you do, he actually practically said that he admired how much I kept fighting back, and that it's no joke, that she's saying I'm good at staying alive. But it follows that if I'm good at staying alive, I'm probably good at keeping other people alive. And I think I'm now, after having done my share of making sure to tell the entire complex that they can't lock me inside like any sort of dog, and next we'll be telling some other different places in public that it's called free speech, and I'm sitting down and making a video deal with it. And if you would like to be a reptilian filmed on camera, please be my guest, because that's what they all are. For basically the entire area, except for some of the kids. For the kids, some of a lot of the children I've seen are still okay, and they are being raised by parents that are possessed and don't know what's going on. Kind of like how I was in a situation very much like that and did not know what was going on. It seems like my father was part and parcel of the whole thing. But ironically became so because of my mother, who was bred for reptilian control and appeared to be handled around, but perhaps not aware of the fact that she was being mind controlled for a while. And when exactly she was just totally taken into all of it, I'm not quite sure. It seems like that happened when I was pretty young, when what would have been her handler, my biological father, when she divorced him, it appears that after that, okay, whatever that means. What Cryon says is, don't say anything to them, Krista, but point the camera at them. And so, what, also, he says that, okay, the exhaust. He says there's something in the exhaust move. Something, the reason they were smiling like that, something in their exhaust. A lot of this is airborne, so he says move. Thank you, Cryon. Cryon, like, saving my life left and right, so we're gonna move. And hit myself in the head with my keys. We're also going to get ourselves back inside. So, I ended up getting that very pesky, strange ruby thing pulled out of me, and after that, got to look at some interesting, bizarre technology I didn't really understand very well. But the point is alive and making sure that my child survives. And you see, that is going to be what's tricky around here. I won't, like I said in one video, if you guys can avoid it, don't have your children in a hospital. Well, I knew that whenever it would happen that I would have to face that I would have to not be in a hospital. And that I would have to figure out how to bear a child outside of a hospital. And when I asked about this, and they said, don't worry, this child is a lot smaller than your normal human children. That's why you're not going to look as big as a normal mother would, or quote show as much. And also, he kept on commenting about how the child will be able to manifest things very quickly that are needed, even without really consciously knowing perhaps what they're doing or what's going on. I would think, well, what if I'm not going to have enough money to feed this child, I'm not going to have what they need. Oh, well, they're just going to think of it, and they're going to draw it to themselves, was the answer that I got. They're going to understand all of this. What I was told is, Krista, think of it like gravity. You know how when you were born, after you became conscious that you were something that existed, that you understood that gravity existed, you understood that the thing called gravity was there. And I said, yeah, I understood that the thing called gravity was there. And Ashtar said, think of it but like this, that this is kind of like gravity to us. The law of attraction, these different concepts are like gravity to us. This isn't going to be a hard or strange concept to your child, and they're going to basically be able to help you take care of them, even though, yes, you're going to need help, and we are going to help you with that. I'm going to go back inside and write up some things for, what do we do when we're psychically attacked? What do we do when we're hexed? What do we do when we're pushed? Particularly for indigos, the indigos that are still around, that have the propensity to get ragefully angry. When we have that propensity, what do? It takes that kind of rage to bust a system. But if we carry it around for too long, then ultimately we destroy ourselves. So, how exactly do we deal with that? And more interesting topics regarding the Ashtar command, and basically just because I feel like talking on a camera and doing it on YouTube, because I have nothing else to do if I'm going to be the last of my race surviving next to Chevron headquarters in San Ramon, California. So, with that, I leave us on Arcturian philosophy.